Awesome. I'm here with the legend, legend, the ninja closer.
How you
How
doing, man?
good? How's it going? Victor Marshall, how you doing today?
Good. I'm doing real good.
Awesome. Awesome. So I'm a newbie. I have a YouTube channel and it's up and running for about 7 months now.
Okay.
So I thought, maybe it'd be best just to kind of get to know you and maybe how you got into YouTube and how you became the ninja closer.
Awesome. All right, let's break into it.
So what got you into YouTube?
So I started it as a way to kind of just put stuff out there. And then I talked to a good friend of both of ours, Jay Daniel, and he was like, "Hey, man, you gotta get in, and this is a great way to, you know, draw awareness to what you're doing and to kind of build a business off of this." And he's like, "You just got to get in and just go for it."
Nice.
And you know how he is and how
Yep.
consistent he is. So I just decided to jump in. I'm not one of those channels that, is I don't post a lot. I do a lot of interviews when I find time to. I try to post some like mindset stuff here and there. It's one of those things where I'm trying to get more consistent, but I've only been doing this for about 3 or 4 months.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it hasn't been anything too crazy.
So 3 or 4 months. So how many subs are you at?
I think a little under 100.
Okay. Man, it looks like you're like a 1,000+ subscriber channel, like very professional, very laid out. I like your channel. I like what you're producing.
Appreciate that. I do. I
Yeah,
spend a lot of time in trying to get the aesthetic right,
that's
make sure
nice.
that everything looks good. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Have you heard of Sales Sniper and all that whole
Yeah. Yeah.
organization, all that? So um Matt had a video on his YouTube channel about acting the part a little bit, like being a little bit more professional with your background and stuff. So as you can see in the back, I went out and found some lights from Walmart and tried to decorate my bookshelf, and I upgraded
Right.
my microphone. So I'm using this Rode.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually love it.
Yeah. I've got a Yeti, but it doesn't seem to want to work for me today. So I got the head mic on.
Oh yeah, technology, right?
Yeah. 100%.
So you did you know Jay a little bit before you? Obviously, you started your. How did you run into Jay?
Yeah. So I,
Jay Daniel
right. Jay
is
Daniel.
Jay Daniel.
I joined the Inbound Closer Accelerator back in August.
Okay,
And
cool.
had been kind of seeing him in and around, scooped a couple of his videos, and then started working with uh, JD Daly,
Okay,
got into his mastermind program, and then kind of got introduced to Jay Daniel that way.
okay.
And so we had a few talks, had a couple of interviews, we've had a lot of conversations actually where he's helping me. I'm kind of giving him some tips. We're just kind of going back and forth. And yeah, it's kind of budded into this like mutual respect and friendship.
Yeah, I like it. It's a tight knit community.
Yeah, for sure.
Myself, I came out of the accelerator program as well, certified, all that good stuff. And what's funny is the deeper down the rabbit hole you get, the less the certification means anything.
Yeah, 100%.
And the less the name closer, even though my whole channel is centered around the Inception closer and all that, as you get deeper, they hate that stuff.
Oh yeah.
They hate, don't say closer, all this kind of stuff. But for me, it's what my channel is about in 5 seconds.
Right.
That's my point. It's not for the clients or the prospects, the people that I'm closing over the phone. I would never say I'm about to close you today hard,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
right? But it's kind of an inside. We know what closer means and all this kind of stuff, but
And
it
I'd
kind
never
of
introduced myself over the phone as the Ninja Closer.
no, exactly,
Never.
exactly. So
Yeah.
it's kind of funny. Even when I send emails out and that kind of stuff, I'm like, man, this sounds so obnoxious.
But that's what sells, man.
It is, yep, yep. You got to be really obnoxious. So for me, my journey kind of began kind of the same thing with you. I started in November. I used to sell life insurance and door knocking with energy contracts in Canada. Where are you from?
I'm from Pennsylvania,
Pencil.
originally from California, but I've been in Pennsylvania for the past like 8 years.
Okay, very cool. I've never been to Pennsylvania. I used to live in Minnesota.
Okay.
Lived there for a year. Traveled across the states. But yeah, I've never been to Pennsylvania. Had friends
Yeah.
from there. But yeah, so my journey is kind of the same. I just love the whole inbound closing world. I really had no idea that this existed other
Hmm.
than um a few years ago I purchased some of Ty Lopez's courses, the 67 steps, the
Yeah.
Amazon, the credit card accelerator, or what was it called? I forget what it was called, but that actually helped me buy this home that I'm in, his
Nice.
program. Yeah. So
Nice.
I went through his whole credit card program with the little junior guy that was there. I don't know if you remember this. They had lots of ads on it.
No, I don't. I'm not really too familiar with Ty Lopez,
Yeah.
um, but
Uh, he,
I kind of have a basic understanding of who he is.
yeah. Basically, he's the guy at the Lamborghini and all that kind of stuff that started out with ads. He just blitzed YouTube with all these ads. So about 5, 6 years ago, I started following him. Then I bought his credit card course. I couldn't even use a prepaid credit card. That's how bad my credit score was. It was
Wow.
terrible. I had to borrow from my daughter when we're at a hotel with my wife, and my prepaid card would get declined. So I called my daughter up to ask her for credit card information so that I can rent the hotel for my wife and myself for our anniversary. That's how
Yeah.
bad things were.
Wow.
So I went through the course and then I followed the program and quickly was able to get over a dozen credit cards from all over the place. Royal Bank included. I actually sat down with the Royal Bank manager and said, "I need help. What should I do? Where's my starting point?" And they said, "Go with Capital One. They'll get you started with one of those advanced credit cards where you put $1,000 down and then you can use it however you want." So
Nice.
that's what I did. I opened up a credit card with them. I think it was $300 was the original. You're allowed to, if you put 300, you're allowed to use $300. So I did that. Then I graduated to 1,000 and they just gave me credit. And then American Express gave me credit cards. Bank of Montreal gave me credit cards, all this kind of stuff. So I started building up my credit. And then 2, 3 years ago, I went back to the bank, applied for a mortgage, and they looked up my credit history and they said, "Oh, Shane, it kind of looks like you don't like to be in debt. It's kind of weird." And I'm like, "You have no idea." Right? Like I lost a couple of homes. One was a grow op. Maybe I'll do a video on how to have a grow op in your basement and
Yeah.
not know it. I had a renter. I bought a home in another town, and I got a phone call from a police officer on April Fool's saying, "Is this Shane that owns this residence in another town?" I said, "Yep, absolutely. The home was 6 years old. I bought two duplexes side by side." And he says, "Yeah, we're just condemning your home."
What?
Yeah. So I hung up on him. I thought it was a friend playing a joke on me.
Right.
Like, this is dumb. April Fool's. Ha ha ha. Click on the officer. Calls me back and I see the please 410 or whatever, right? And I'm like, "Oh wow." So he said, "Yeah, I'm afraid we had to condemn your home because the renters that you have, they actually had a grow up and they tore apart your basement to make it like put vapor barriers and all this stuff. They ripped out my
Wow.
washer, my dryer." He says, "Yeah, the city's condemned it. We condemned it. But if you renovate it and get it back up in the market, you could, and the city approves it, you can sell it again." So I
Wow.
did that. I spent about 20 grand renovating it. And I was paying rent in another town. And I tried putting it up on the market. And you have to tell people what used to be a grow op when they're looking around because there could be mold in the wood.
Right.
all that stuff. So I couldn't sell it. So I gave the keys back to the bank, owed them like $300,000 or $400,000.
Wow.
And they kept calling me every day, and they would take money out of my bank account for the mortgage. Plus I was paying rent and I had no job. So
That's crazy.
every day they would knock off 220 bucks out of my account because my mortgage would bounce. So it'd be, and they
Wow.
do it 2 or 3 times a day. So I'd be in the hole $600 every day I wake up.
Wow.
Yeah. So these suckers are calling me every day, and credit card companies saying, "Hey, do you think maybe you can give me 10 grand, 20 grand today?" Like, no, I can't.
No,
So
that's not
that's,
gonna happen.
yeah. So then I came across Ty's course, and then I went through the program and everything and got my credit score built up. So when I went to the mortgage company, like, yeah, we'll give you a home. No problem. Bought my wife a
Nice.
brand new car. So I'm in debt again with a mortgage and a car.
There you go. That's the cycle.
It's a cycle back again. But I say all that to say that's kind of my introduction to Ty, and then into this whole YouTube arena, if you will.
Right.
And then I found Taylor Welch's ad that was just blasting everywhere
Hmm.
in the fall, and I'm like, oh man, this is awesome. I could make 20 grand in 21 days. Sign me up. And so, yeah, I went, my journey is just up and down. I'm like, I hate life. I love life. I hate life, kind of thing. Like, this sucks. This doesn't work. And then all of a sudden, things are starting to gel together. It's kind
Nice.
of interesting. Yeah. It's a very interesting world. It's crazy.
For sure. I get so what what drew you to the Inception closer, that title?
Because I was on the movie Inception,
Hmm.
and I met Christopher Nolan, met Leonardo DiCaprio briefly. He walked by me as I said hello, and he gave me a nod. It's unbelievable. The guy is just as tall as I was. I was 6'2". I'm a little bit shorter now because I hunch.
Yeah.
But I actually had a conversation with Christopher Nolan, who just happened to be my idol director,
Wow.
like my favorite director. And Inception is one of my favorite movies. So I remember Matt Ryder talking about selling within a sale kind of thing, a sale within a sale. And I'm
Hmm.
like, oh man, dream within a dream. That's how I think and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I converted, my channel used to be called The Gravity Consultant,
Okay.
because people gravitate towards people they trust, was kind of my
Right.
theme. So
Yeah.
then I switched it halfway to basically Inception closer, Inception consultant, that kind of thing.
Nice.
So it ties in with the whole dreams and implanting ideas into people when you're on a sales call that maybe they never thought about before. If it's making 10 grand, 15 grand a month, and they're used to thinking, oh, maybe I can only make 4 grand a month. Maybe that's my lot in life.
Yeah.
So if I can inject some kind of hope in their life and say, you know what, all it is you just need a little bit of authority in your life to stand up for yourself and get what you want.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, a little bit of authority and a little bit of responsibility for where you've gotten yourself.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. We have no problem digging ditches for ourselves and
Yeah.
then blame it on everyone else. And I was the king of blame. I wanted to blame everybody. It's your fault. It's your fault. It's your fault. Right.
Yeah.
So, but after a
Yeah.
while, I just kind of gave myself a bit of a slap and said, no, you just own this stuff and move forward.
That's good, man. That's what's up.
Yeah. And so what is kind of, where are you at right now? Like, are you freelancing? Are you doing your own thing? What's going on in your world?
So I'm working right now for JD Daly. I am his head coach in the Undeniable Closer Mastermind.
Okay.
So I do sales coaching. I do a
Nice.
lot of, this is why you're thinking this way. This is how you should position your thought to be better on the phone, but also to set your career up better. A lot of people want to deal with just the phone. I
Hmm.
want to talk about, just getting on the call and closing the call, but there's so much more outside of that that has to deal with the business and how you navigate yourself through and how you position yourself to get the next job or get your dream gig or be in a position to where you can actually take care of your family. Like you said, the ads are like, yeah, you can make 21,000 in 21 days, but how many people actually do that? It's
Mhm.
very few. Not saying it doesn't happen,
Yep.
but it's very few.
Yep.
So my whole thing is helping people position themselves and make those moves so that in 2 or 3 months, you're not even worried about that ad. In
Yep.
2 or 3 months, you're positioned in a place where you see much more than $20,000,
Yep.
you know? So,
Yeah.
and that's JD's big mission. And so I kind of got on with him, part of his outbound team at first, and then I was closing for him. And then when the spot opened up, he needed someone to help him supplement his coaching. And he was like, I think you're perfect. And I was like, yeah, sure. I
So
mean,
is this for coaching for like fitness coaching, consulting, all that kind of stuff? Or is it like, is this more inbound closing training, or what is this
it's it's
program?
it's closer based. So we
Okay.
coach closers
Okay.
on how to network, outreach, get put themselves in the position to actually get good gigs and opportunities, and then also career development and sales mastery and all of those things as well. So
Nice.
that's kind of where that's our aim. It's just to take this one track mind. I can get on the phone. I'm a closer because I know how to close a call
Right.
and say, okay, I may know how to close a call, but if I can't get a job, if I can't get an opportunity, then
Mhm.
I'm no good. I might as well work at McDonald's because I can't get an interview.
Yep.
So
100%.
it's getting to taking them from I can close a phone call to I'm a closer and this
Yes.
is what I do.
100%.
I'm a
Yep.
sales professional. So
100%. Yeah. What I'm finding with my YouTube channel at the beginning, it was like, man, I need to know how to handle objections, and I need to know, what is the biggest objection that someone is going to come up with, and you start memorizing that to handle those objections and all this stuff, right? And then after a while, it's like, man, I got to get good at Zoom. I got
yeah,
to get good at presenting myself on video with video resumes.
yep,
I got to get good at selling myself to the client as though they were a prospect.
exactly.
That's the whole. Now it's like, forget about talking about, like, I understand you have to memorize the script, and I go through my script every day to try and memorize it word for word before I can even begin to change it. I memorize the whole thing, and I practice out loud. I record my voice to practice my tonality and all this stuff, and then I role play all this. That's boom. Okay, you got that. Now when I'm on a call with someone that's interviewing me, like they're a multi-million dollar company, all of a sudden they're like, okay, what experience do you have as a high ticket closer? What's your biggest objection and all this kind of stuff? And I'm like, I have to control this conversation in the interview to showcase my skills. Otherwise, I'm going to be like every other salesperson that calls them and says, I could do this for you. I could do that. I'm the
Right.
greatest. I'm the greatest, instead of controlling it.
Yeah. It's funny because you say I'm the greatest, and a lot of people have that Muhammad Ali mentality,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where he came out and he said, I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest, I'm the best, I'm better than you, I'm better than you, I'm better than you. But what they forget is he backed it up
He backed it up
again and
100%.
again and again
100%.
and again. A lot of people come into this business, they're like, I'm the greatest, I can do this. I can't tell you how many messages I've gotten. People
Yep.
were like, oh, I can close 80% of your calls for you.
Prove
And I'm
it.
like,
Show me your track
exactly.
record. Yep.
Back if you could do that, then you wouldn't be coming to me.
100%. That's
So
the trick right there.
exactly.
Real
So it's like,
closers
back it up.
aren't hunting necessarily. I could be wrong, but my theory is real closers are busy.
They shouldn't have to be hunting.
Yep.
Their work should speak for them, and their network should be big enough to where if one opportunity goes off,
Yep.
they've got another one lined up.
Yep.
Great example, our good friend Jay Daniel.
Yes.
When
100%.
one opportunity falls away, he's already got a couple lined up. He's got a path going. He's not worried about where money's going to come from.
No.
His goals are there and they're huge.
Yep. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's hitting those huge goals.
I love his progression. It felt like a couple of months ago, maybe in the transition between sales mentor and over or traffic and funnels over to the sales sniper, that there was a little bit of a dark period, a little bit. You could just tell in some of his videos a little bit, like
Mhm.
just the tonality, just a little bit. And then now it feels like he's in control. It's weird. The
Do you know what I think
tonality
it
is
was?
just, it's just boom.
Do you know what I think it was? I think
Huh.
it was he was so used to being busy that he had the time to sit back and do nothing and
Mhm.
kind of plan his next steps. And he's a guy that's got his day plan to the minutes, right?
Yes. Yep.
So when you go from doing that to not doing that, it kind of brings about a cloud of uncertainty and a cloud of like insufficiency.
Yep.
And so now that he's back on target, it's like, boom, now I found something to reach for. Let me go. Let me
Feels
do it.
like a different man when you see him now. His
Yeah.
countenance is relaxed
Yeah.
but assertive, and he doesn't care what people think.
Of
That's
course.
that's another level right there. Like for me at the beginning, it was like, man, should I say this? Shouldn't I say this? Should I, how should I position this to get more views, more followers, all this kind of stuff? And then after a while, it's like, I'm just going to be focused on projecting my journey, documenting my journey. I don't care if it's good content, bad content. I need
Yeah.
to come back to this channel 2 years from now and see my progression.
Right.
That's my goal.
Right.
And if people want to follow along with that and say, oh, yeah, I could see from when he was downloading the accelerator program and waiting for the presentation to end so that he can buy the $97 course to where he is now, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I want to showcase so that when somebody brand new comes in and goes, yeah, I would like to make 30 grand this month. That seems to be pretty reasonable. What does it take? Well, watch my channel. Watch me
Yeah.
fail. Watch me fail in role plays with guys that are making 100 grand a month.
Yeah.
Watch me get eaten alive by those guys. Watch me bomb on interviews. Watch me accelerate.
Yeah.
Watch me go to the next level.
Yeah. I think one of the principles that have really helped me is I no longer assign weight to people's opinion. You know, people will tell you, you got to get people out of your life. You got to cut them off. I'm not a big fan of just cutting people off, right?
Right, right.
What I will do though is I will assign a weight to your opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So you can still be around, but your opinion no longer matters to me. So
Exactly.
there's about a handful of people that I can
Mm-hmm.
say that your opinion of me, of what I'm doing, of how I'm projecting, of how I am, who I am,
Yeah,
actually matter to me. And I will take heed of what you're saying.
yeah,
Everybody else, thank you for your opinion of me, but I'm going
yeah.
to still do what I want to do.
Exactly.
You can be around and watch if you want,
Yeah,
but it's not going to affect me.
yeah. For me, comments on YouTube, I had one guy say, just dude, just get on with it. Get on with it, shut up and get on with it. That's kind of a paradox. But I looked at his channel. I'm like, you got 0 videos, 0 subscribers, and you're
Yeah.
talking shit.
Yeah.
Piss
That's
off.
the
Like I
online
can't.
world, man.
Yeah, so I don't get upset, even though I sound like I'm upset. I'm just more reflective upon. I don't give a damn now with people that have not tried to fail and all this kind of stuff on YouTube, because
Hmm.
YouTube is a freaking beast, man. It's a beast,
Yeah.
an all-consuming beast. And a guy that has 0 subscribers, I'm like, yeah, okay, thank you. Boom, next, 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 next.
My favorite is when they just look and they're like, this guy's lying. He's not even telling the truth. He hasn't made any money off of this. And I just sit back and say,
Yep.
I'm sitting at home making a video
Mm-hmm.
and people are watching it.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
whether or not they get something from it, that's on them. But
Yep.
there's no need for me to lie.
Yep. Exactly. I'm on a kick now. I made a video this morning on authority,
Mm,
having authority in your life, because when I was 7, my parents divorced
okay.
and my dad gave up his authority over me,
Mm,
and we moved to another town. And so I had to fight for everything I got as a 7-year-old, 8-year-old, making new friends, getting the strap by the principal weekly, daily, all this stuff. And I did not trust the system or anything. I felt like my authority as a human being was yanked from me, pulled out from me. And I had nobody to trust anymore. Authority figures, anything like that. I'm like, yeah, you're out to get me. I just have a mistrust of the whole system. And that's dangerous because you don't trust anybody. You don't trust your spouse. You don't trust anything, your boss. You always think somebody's out to get you. The universe is against you and all this stuff. It's dangerous.
Yeah.
So I'm on this authority kick to try and help people get back their authority as a human being.
Yeah.
You have authority just for being a human being. You have authority, and nobody should take that away from you.
Yeah. And you hit it on the head. It's about trust, and it's like trusting someone, especially when it comes to like your spouse and all of that, because of the traumas of the past. Like you have to literally say, all right, I am giving you this without any thought of reciprocation, but I'm giving you this because I need it in order for myself to be healthy.
100%.
Now, I'm trusting you with my trust, and I'm giving that to you,
Right.
hoping that you're not going to run me through. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
But even if you do, there's the benefit of the doubt kind of thing. And
Yeah.
I'm helping myself be a better person, a better man, a better father, a better husband by trying to do the right thing. And I'm going to fall. I'm going to trip
Right.
and fall and all this kind of stuff. But I like that idea of giving people the benefit of the doubt. It's not so much proving yourself to me, but here's a level of trust that I'm giving you, and you can run with it in whatever direction you want.
Yeah.
Off you go.
Yeah.
So with your YouTube channel, you're building up authority right now
Right.
because it is a bit of a pecking order. If you have less than 100 subscribers, it's hard to listen to those people versus someone that has 10,000,
Right.
20,000, 50,000. They're doing something right that you need to pay attention to.
Yep. And so what I've been doing is, for the most part, if you go on my channel, you'll see a lot of other people's experiences, because I can give my experience, and I will continue to do so.
Mhm.
But to hear from other people who are in the same boat as some of the same people that watch my channel. A lot of people who watch my channel, a lot of my subscribers, they come to me asking, how can I do this? How can I get in this inbound closing arena? How can I be a
Yes.
part of the club?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
So,
say, okay, well, watch this guy, watch Alvaro. There's a video that I put
mhm,
up about this guy, Alvaro. He was an opera singer
mhm,
teaching music, gigging for $200 a gig. Now he's working with a huge ad company, making 8 to 10K each month. And he's
yeah.
only been doing it since December.
Nice.
But he put in the work and he put in the effort, and you see that and you hear his story, and I'm just guiding his story.
Right.
And I feel like that's kind of where I shine, when I get to guide other people's visions and other people's stories to help other people learn.
No, that's good stuff. And I'll touch on that in 1 second. I kind of remembered when I was back when I was 7, I used to try and make radio programs with a tape recorder. I just
Yeah.
thought about that now. I had no idea. I was following a TV show called WKRP in Cincinnati. And I'm like, oh, I gotta make a little radio show. But now interview style, YouTube channels, podcasting, Joe Rogan style stuff, that seems to be the
Yeah.
way things are going. If you can uplift other people and share their journeys on your platform, I think it just makes the world a better place without making it sound weird.
Yeah. 100%. 100%.
So
It's a big wide market.
so let's touch on the here's a brand new person that's like, you know what, I have a little bit of sales experience and I'm kicking tires and I see all these sales mentor, all these, Grant Cardone, high ticket closer, Dan Locke, all this kind of stuff. If people want to start out, two things: where can they start out with you guys, and what's the best way to do it? Like, where would you recommend them to go? Like you mentioned, I forget the name of the program that you sell for. What was the name of it?
Undeniable closer mastermind.
Okay, so what is their first step? Go to that website, or what
You
would
can
you
go to the
suggest?
website. you can go to the website. They can also message me personally,
Okay. So
or
just DM you, find you, the Ninja
yeah,
Closer on Facebook,
Facebook,
Instagram.
Facebook. I'm not on Instagram, but
Okay.
Facebook and YouTube. They can just message me, the
Okay.
ninjacloser@gmail.com. Or you can go to High Ticket Closers Current Job Opportunities, which is a
Okay.
Facebook group. It's a free Facebook group. There's about 8,000 members, and it's probably the most active public group on Facebook for closing.
Okay.
You'll have you'll get content from JD Daly, the mentor himself, content from his team, content from people like Jay Daniel and Sam Dubbs and a bunch of other people who are big in the space right now who are kind of making names for themselves. And you'll get to see all of that and kind of get like a firsthand experience. It's like floor seats to the game, right?
Nice. Yeah.
You're still not in the game, but you'll get floor seats and you get to experience what's going on. You get to be around people who are doing the same thing. Some job opportunities may pop up on that board. You'll get content from people. So it's a good place to kind of be, to get immersed in the culture.
Nice. Nice. I like that. So maybe after I post this video on my channel, if you want to provide me the links and everything,
Sure.
I'll
Yeah.
put that in the description. That way, if you're watching this video, they can click on those links and then go check your stuff out, go check out the Facebook group and all that.
Yeah.
And then that way, maybe you can get some baby birdies coming into your flock.
Yeah. I mean, we've got some really cool things coming up.
Hmm.
So I think it's going to be great for people of all different levels in sales. But I think it's just a good place to be around people who kind of help you grow.
I
And
think
we're a
so.
big people helping people
Yep.
mindset oriented business. So that's kind of like our slogan. We've adopted people helping people, and we just make sure that we give you what you need to succeed, whether or not you join us or not. We
Yep.
want to give you some tools to get better because
Right.
this industry is big enough for everyone to eat, right?
Yes. Yep.
YouTube's big enough for everyone to eat. The sales industry is big enough for everyone to eat and eat well. The
Hmm.
problem is there's a lot of people who are taking advantage of people.
Hmm.
There's a lot of people who are swinging blindly in the dark and they don't know how to get to where they want to be.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think there is something to be said about having a partnership with an organization or being mentored in the right way.
Yeah.
Because what I what I am experiencing right now is I am getting weekly messaging. Used to be pretty quiet on Instagram, Facebook, not so much Twitter. I have a LinkedIn, but I haven't. I spend 90% of my time on YouTube. I have an Instagram channel, but it's where do you spend all your time, right? Like you got to
Yeah.
pick one. So I spend
Yeah.
most of my time developing content. I try every day for my YouTube channel. Um, oh, where was I going with this bunny trail? Forget what I was going to say. That's not surprising. Uh, but yeah, just the whole like getting into this arena. Like if you don't have a mentor and stuff, you're gonna get lost. Oh yeah, like now the progression is I'm getting people that are wanting to interview me now.
Yeah.
My email box is starting to fill up, my calendar's starting to fill up where people are like, and these are some of these organizations are big players too, people that I've been
Awesome.
following for a while.
Yeah.
And I can't delve into too much because they could be watching. Big Brother
Right.
could be watching.
Of course.
But believe me, when I'm a part of the organization, I don't mind sharing a bit more, how it works, the compensation, all this kind of stuff. But I also want to protect the inside as
Yeah.
well. So,
Yeah.
but there's some interesting things that are happening. And what I'm finding now is because my calendar is starting to fill up with interviews, I got to get good on camera, making 90-second videos, video resumes.
Mm-hmm.
I got to get good with follow up, thanking people after the interview. Hey, thank you so much for this interview and look forward to the next step, blah, blah, blah. Sending those out because so many people forget about that stuff. They just, oh, there's
Yeah.
an interview. I don't know how it went. They're testing you. This is
Yeah.
how you're going to treat another client of theirs.
Yeah.
So you want them to give you a client, their best client, and they're going to pay the company 10, 15, $20,000 for a program, and you're like screwing it up.
Right.
You want them to open up the valve and send you all their clients and screw up their whole business just because
Yeah.
you're cocky and you're like, I need 50% commission.
Right. And what you're doing is you're telling them to trust you,
Yeah,
and you're not proving that you're trustworthy,
exactly.
because
Yeah,
money's made on the follow-up, man.
yeah,
Like it might seem like those 10% tasks, that 10% importance, but those things carry a lot of weight.
they do.
If
They're
you can
testing
clean
you.
up,
They're
right?
testing you
Think
constantly.
about this, right? Think about this. On an interview, the first question that every interviewer who's ever interviewed asks themselves when they sit down is, why should I hire this person?
Yes.
And then they go through everything.
Yeah,
At the end of that interview, you want them to say, why shouldn't I hire this person?
exactly.
Right?
Yeah,
So if they're still on the fence about that, or if they
yeah,
haven't answered that question, you following up with them, you making sure that you come in and say, hey, I really appreciate that, but you're just being more top of mind than the next guy.
yeah,
So at the
yeah.
end of the day, who's going to rise to the top in that process? You
Yeah,
are, because you're top of mind.
yeah, exactly. And that's kind of the mentality that I have going into these interviews. It's a little bit Inception like, if you will. So what I'll do in an interview, this is a little bit unorthodox, but I'll try and break them out of the script because they're thinking that you're just every other salesperson right off the gate.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll just say, um, like they'll say, tell me a little bit about your experience, or what got you into this, blah blah blah. I'm like, no, that's cool, that's awesome, I'd love to do that, but off the record, can I just ask you a couple of questions about yourself, just off the record, before we get started? And they're like, yeah, what do you want to know? I'm like, how did you get started? What do you like about the business? What do you like about the organization? And I'll spend 30 minutes peppering them with questions,
Yeah.
controlling the conversation, controlling the interview. And then at the end, it's almost like, well, I don't really have anything else for you. If you think it's appropriate for the next steps, maybe we can set up the next kind of thing where we're going. And it's like they're
Hmm.
like, wait a minute, I don't even know anything about this guy.
Yeah.
Right at the end,
But what you've done
they
is
did.
you've given them a feeling about you.
Yeah, this is how I would roll.
Yeah.
They didn't even get into the how would you handle objections? How would you sell somebody a yacht if you haven't sold a yacht? Like, they didn't even, because all I did was get to know them. I got to
Right.
know the culture about their business, what they're looking for in a good closer, a good enrollment specialist. How would I fit into the culture if you brought me on board tomorrow? How would that look? What would kind of be the first 2 weeks? What would that look? What would success look like for you if you were to lie down tonight on your bed and go, man, I just hired the best enrollment specialist in Shane. I feel so good. Wow. How would that make you feel going to the team leader
Yeah.
saying you hired? Like,
Yeah.
I'm inceptionalizing everything and putting it into a nice little bow. So by the end of it, they're like, huh, I don't
He
have
answered all
anything
my
else to
questions
ask.
and I didn't even have to ask him.
I didn't have to ask him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he
Yeah.
controlled the conversation in a respectful way.
Yeah.
And this is a snapshot of what he's going to do with a real client of mine.
Yeah. It's a dance, right?
It's a
An interview
dance.
is a dance, a sales call is a dance. If you're if you're leading that dance and you're leading it with skill and precision, it's a beautiful thing.
It is. Yeah.
But when you're dancing one dance and then they're dancing another, it's
Hmm.
disjointed and it
Yeah.
doesn't work.
Yeah. If they're dancing, I don't know, the mamba or something, and I'm dancing the cha-cha-cha, and I'm like, my sales skills are this, and I like to do this, and I'm a good guy, and I da 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 da.
Yeah.
And they're
And they're
like,
doing
what
the
are you
waltz
doing?
and they're like, what's going on?
Yeah,
Yeah.
what the hell?
Yeah.
So yeah. So that's kind of my inception method of conducting an interview.
That's awesome.
It's fun.
Yeah. I just think that, in this business, in this space, there's just so much growing and maturing that you have to do outside of the sales call.
Hmm.
And yes, the sales call has been marketed because it's the easiest thing to market. So that's what people are attracting. And that's what people are jumping on because the sales call is easy to kind of work through. There's no business out there who's just going to hand you something, or no, I should say no business worth anything that's
Right.
just going to hand you something without a process, without a script, without anything, and just expect you to handle all of that. No,
Yeah.
they're going to have a script. They're going to have a process. They're going to want you to do things a certain way. So because of that, you can teach someone how to sell the call the way you want them to. But what you
Hmm.
can't teach them is how to have the integrity, how to show up, how to be reliable, how to be
Hmm.
trustworthy, how to like handle your baby, which is your business. Like if it was your daughter, you wouldn't just give them away to the first dude that came knocking on your door. You'd get to know them and say, "Hey, who are you? I want to know what
Hmm.
type of person you are.
Yeah.
I want to know if you're going to treat my daughter right because I love her and I've
Yeah.
put my whole life into building her. I don't want you to come and wreck this
Yeah.
this thing that I've built."
Yeah.
It's the same thing with a business.
I used to have to clean my shotguns on the table whenever my daughter would bring a boyfriend home. I'd be like, hey, grab a seat. I'm just finishing this up here. What do you think? What do you think the spread is? How far do you think you can get if you mess with my daughter? How far? I don't own a gun. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, yeah. But
But it's
see,
almost like that idea where you go up to the door and it's like, whatever you do to my daughter, I'm going to do to you.
yeah. And a good salesperson would be like, "Oh, well, if you tweaked it this way and you handled this, you'd probably get me a lot better."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they would take the pressure off the situation and handle it.
Hmm.
And so that's the kind of guy that I want around my daughter. It's the
Yes.
same kind of guy that I want around my business, who's going to be able to take the pressure off of a sales call
Yeah.
and say, "Okay, now this is how we work this." But you can't teach that. Those
No.
are the intangibles,
No.
right?
I used to say, like, I'm not a dating coach. It might be kind of interesting to be in that realm,
Yeah.
to help people find dates and stuff. But I would tell my son, I'm like, okay, if you are attracted to a woman that is just drop dead gorgeous, and you're like, man, I just want to date this woman. One of the things that I think would work that you should do is, if she has a girlfriend, is you have a conversation with the girlfriend beside the girl that you like, and show that you can carry a conversation while she's checking you out. Because she's going to have her wing person check you out. And then afterwards, when they go away, they're going to be like, yeah, that guy is fantastic. I think you should date him. He's great. You're going to have the girlfriend sell you
Yeah.
to her best friend because she's checking you out. She's peppering you all the hard questions that a person that's interested can't.
Yeah. And that's networking, right?
That's networking. So
Yeah.
that's what I do in an organization is I know who the top person is, but I will try and get to know every person around the organization and find favor so that they're curious. Now it's like, well, why does my top sales guy like this guy? And why does
Yeah.
this hiring manager like this guy? And why do some of the enrollment specialists, why do the closers like this guy? What is it? Even though he messes up here and there in a role play, there's something inside him that we like.
Yeah. You got the friends. When you get the friends, the rest is game. It's easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, but how you do that is what separates you apart from everybody else, because everybody else is standing in the corner and they're like, "Hey, pick me, pick
Pick
me.
me,
Hey,
pick me,
pick
like
me.
little
I'll
birdies.
send you a drink. Pick me, pick me."
Yeah. No,
But
it's
when you're the only one that's willing to get up and go to where they are and to meet them at their level, and then that's how you get these companies.
yeah.
That's how you get these opportunities. When you
No,
get to shine and show yourself like, "Wow, this is who I am," and everybody else can notice. I
yeah.
mean, that's networking. It's like
Yeah.
flirting.
It is. It is. It's flirting with, like, I know, who was it? Peyton Welch said, if you want to get his attention, talk about copywriting.
Yeah, because
You
they're
know,
copywriters.
they are. And
Yeah.
so if you throw an article, maybe in a DM, or a video that you liked, or something that that they might be interested in regarding copywriting, maybe some of the legends like Joe Sugarman and all this stuff,
Hmm.
make a meme out of it or whatever it is, you're going to attract attention, and they're going to be like, oh, this guy kind of thinks like me a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's how you warm their precious little hearts, talking about things that they're interested in, not what can I do? I could sell you. You give me a client and I'll sell them overnight. I will close this deal so hard.
Yeah. Everybody looks at those ads and they're like, I'm gonna be just like Peyton or just like Taylor. But what
That's
they
what I
don't
did.
realize, yeah,
Confession.
yeah,
I was one of those guys. I'm
I did
like,
the
I'm
same
going to
thing.
close this tomorrow.
I did the same thing. But what you don't realize in that moment is Peyton's where he is because he had a network.
Yep.
Taylor
Yep.
was in his network and was willing to risk his business on training and teaching his brother to do what he needed him to do. And
Which
now
was a
they have the
huge risk.
opportunity, right? But now they have the opportunity to do that for so many other people. A lot of people hate on that business.
Yep.
I'm not one of those people.
No.
I don't hate on it. I understand what it is,
Yep.
which it's marketing and
It
copywriting.
is. It's marketing, copywriting. 100%.
Yeah,
I
but it's working and it's working brilliantly because a lot of people are falling for a dream that is being laid out to them as such, but at the same time, if you really pay attention, they're showing you this is the framework. You
Yep.
network, you have a network, and you network with someone who's got something to give you.
Yep.
And when they give it to you, you run with it and do well, and then turn it into something like they have.
Yeah. Have you read The Consultant?
I have not read The Consultant. It's on my list.
It's funny because in the ads they talk about you don't want to be a consultant, you don't want to be an Amazon seller,
Yeah.
you don't want to do all this kind of stuff, you don't want to do webinars and all this stuff. But when you read The Consultant, and I have it, they were giving it out free at the beginning or something like that. So I have a digital copy of it. And it's a blueprint of exactly what they did from square one.
Oh
It's
wow.
amazing. Yeah, it's an exact blueprint. If you wanted to create an organization from scratch, this is exactly how you do it. This is what you charge. This is why you charge it. They go through everything and they practiced it on me, and that's what worked. They got me in. And then it's just interesting coming back and reading the book. And this is how we would get a client. This is what we would do. This is how much we would charge them. It's all in the book.
Yeah.
So it's actually a great read from that perspective. And
Wow.
I went down a little bit where I was a little bit negative towards their organization a bit because it's a little bit combative.
Hmm.
But I was more on the 21 day, you can get $20,000 in 21 day kind of thing. That
Yeah.
presentation was a little bit
That's a little bit
hypey,
harping on a
little,
dream. Yeah.
yeah, and I understood that, but it's tough when you're in their sales funnel to say no.
Hmm.
So I'm trying to also prepare people that, like, if you think that you have no experience whatsoever and you're going to make $10,000-$20,000 in less than 21 days, the course itself took me about 30-40 days to do every day, and I had all their courses. I took everything. I took their coaching, their private coaching, their certification. I got certified. I took the accelerator. I took their Facebook ad thing. That I just said, give it all to me. Just,
Yeah. Yeah.
And then after, I'm like, okay, well, I want to make sure that people know what they're getting into as well. It's not easy. It's not
Yeah.
easy. That
I
was,
just did the accelerator
yeah.
and realized quickly that this is what it is. It's
Mhm.
a funnel.
It's a
And
funnel.
so they're going to give you a little bit here and then
Yep.
tell you that you need a little bit more and then a little
Yep.
bit more. And then I
Yep.
started to realize that, you know, the the certification, calling it a certification, getting a certification is what actually made me not do it.
Mm. Mm.
Because it's like in looking for businesses, which I was doing, not one time in any of these posts did anyone ask for a certification in any
No.
interview that I went. So I was like, why
No.
do I need it?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then talking to people who went through it,
Yeah.
it just didn't seem like a good return on the juice wasn't worth the squeeze, as JD likes to say.
Yep. Yep.
So
Yeah, for sure. And like I'll never regret getting all the courses. But my kind of my mission now is to again show people my journey and then show people that it's not as easy as they're making it out to be.
yeah,
And better believe me, down the road, I'll probably have my own course as well, on
for sure.
how to maybe be a little bit more authoritative, how to conduct your interviews, all this kind of stuff that I kind of wish I knew and the courses don't teach.
Yeah.
So maybe coming at it from a different angle, how to um, pursue your dreams from a different perspective,
Yeah,
how to
I
make it
mean, that's
happen.
exactly what JD did.
Yeah. So you do this yourself, and then yeah, the first step is maybe you have a free ebook, some free gift. Here's 10 things to up your authority. And then maybe you have a little video course that's like $27, $97. And better believe you're going to get upsold into a coaching, whatever.
Hmm.
That's business. That is good
Yeah,
business.
that is good
Nothing wrong with
business.
it. So
No, nothing wrong with it whatsoever.
I could see that's coming up down the pipelines as well
Nice, nice. And I
down the
mean,
road.
you've seen my videos and how I deal with it, and you see the comments
Yep.
and people, it's a scam, it's a scam, and oh, that word,
I know.
everyone throws that around these
So
days when they
so
don't
what do
like
you
something.
say to someone that says, like, I have my answer, but if someone says like it's a scam, let's just start off there. What would you say?
Well, in reference to
Inbound closing.
inbound closing in general,
Yeah.
I would say it's it's not a scam. You can actually make money doing this. You can actually do well. What's a scam, or what can be a scam, is the dream that you're going to be great at it just because you took a course, or just because you know you heard from some person or read some book or watched a YouTube video. That's the scam that people are selling. But can you actually be successful? Yes. Can you actually make a living? Yes. Can you actually transition from full-time work into what you're doing? Yes. Can you support your family and make more money than you've ever imagined? Yes, you can. But it's going to take hard work. It's going to take constant growth. It's going to take you putting every ounce of your energy into learning skills and rewiring your brain to work more efficiently to the online sales space. And if you can do that, if you can do that with precision, then yes, you can be successful. So in that sense, no, it isn't a scam. What's the scam is you thinking that it's going to happen just because you popped your head into the space.
Mhm.
You're
And so
scamming yourself.
yeah, for sure. And I've been guilty of that. So people also ask the question, are there organizations looking for inbound closers?
That's a tough one, because the term inbound closer is a marketing ploy. What companies are looking for are they're looking for responsible sales representatives to help their companies
Which
in
doesn't
different
sound
facets.
it doesn't sound as sexy, does it?
It doesn't. So
Inbound
inbound
closer.
closer was then in terms sexualized and made into something that was very catchy and catchphrasey.
Yep.
And so now people are saying, "Oh, I'm an inbound closer," and businesses are looking at them like, "What's that?"
It's
Yeah,
actually, yeah, I know. And I was
because
guilty of that. I would
yeah,
be like on LinkedIn, hey, I'm an inbound closer. You send
right,
it to them. It's almost like you're repelling them by saying
right,
that stuff.
exactly. And then you put the templates out like, "Hi, I'm so passionate about this. I'm so there are certain feelings and emotions that don't need to be said. Passion is one of them. If you have to tell me that you're passionate, I don't believe it on my own. I
Yep.
should look at you and say you're passionate about this, and I should feel that from you. That should be something you exude, not something you ever say out of your mouth.
Yep.
So there are certain things like that that help you see that these people are brand new and they're
Yep.
they're repulsive to businesses, like you said.
Yep. Yeah. And the first snapshot, and hopefully this will help somebody out that's just starting out. Don't, as your first message, don't say you're certified.
Yeah,
Don't throw that out there. That you're an inbound closer, and don't say that you're certified in anything.
because it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
It
It'll
doesn't.
just, they will not respond to you. I promise you. This
Yeah.
is gold. This video is gold, man. We're helping so many people out there right now.
Certification only matters within that certification group put on
Yes.
by Traffic and Funnels. And even in there, you're fighting with a bunch of other certified people who can't close a door,
Mhm.
but they're certified
Yep.
because they went through a program.
Yep.
So when you come out, you're like, oh, it's funny enough. I went through the program in about 3 weeks, I had 2 different offers. Now, whether they were great offers or not, that's beside the point. But I had 2 different offers. Why was I interviewing with someone having just come out of the accelerator, having been in this space for 3 weeks? Why am I interviewing with the same person who is in private coaching, went through private coaching, and I get the job?
Mm-hmm.
Not because they turned down the job, but because they weren't offered the job because I was offered it first. Why does that happen? Because it's like we were talking about before, it's positioning yourself in an interview, and it's having the skills and knowledge to know how to do this appropriately. You can get all the training you want, you can pay all the money to be trained, but if you're not going to apply principles that are taught, if you're not going to elevate yourself to a point where there's nobody getting a job above you because you have everything lined up, you do all the work, you do all the research, you know what you're walking into before you get there, you're going to struggle in this business. And you're going to look back and say, well, I was trained, I was certified, I went through private coaching, I paid a Dan Locke's course, or
Mm-hmm.
I went through Sniper, or I went through Undeniable and
Mm-hmm.
whatever, and I still can't find work. Well, that's because you're not doing the work. You're just expecting the money to work for you, or the
Mm-hmm.
payment that you paid to work for you.
Yep.
And that's why I say, back to that original question, that's why I say you can do this and be successful without taking any courses. It'll be hard, but you
Mm-hmm.
can.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it by taking one course or by taking 8 courses. It all depends on the work that you put into it and the amount of effort that you put into making this something that you really want.
100%. It's really all on you.
Yeah.
That's the interesting thing. And I believe even Dan Locke's course will probably work. Even that, if you're willing to work it. It might be a little bit
Yeah.
combative and whatever, but or
Here,
Grant Cardone's, heaven forbid.
here's the thing. It worked for them, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And made them successful.
Mm-hmm.
They're selling it. People are buying it.
Yep.
So it's working for someone.
Yep.
Whether or not that someone is you, all depends on you and
Yep.
how much effort you put into the space.
Yep.
I can't look at traffic and funnels and say there's no successful people out of there, because there are
Yep.
plenty of successful people out of there who are
For
doing
sure.
great.
Yep. For sure.
I could say the same thing about any program, including the one I work for.
Yep.
It really just depends on you putting in the effort and you growing and having somebody there to help you do that.
Yep. It's almost like pick one and
Yeah.
then get a team of mentors and people that have done it that are better than you, and then rock and roll.
Yeah. And if that doesn't work for you on a fundamental level, then find another one.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think, I don't know if you agree with this or not, but I think you can find out within a reasonable amount of time if this is for you or
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a relationship, right?
Yeah.
It should be like a relationship. You
Yep.
should go into it wide-eyed, looking for red flags, looking for things that are going to set you off, and then not spend the rest of your time in it if it's not going to be beneficial to you.
Yeah. And I think having that network of people where they can go, yeah, that feels a little scammy. That feels a
Yeah.
little, there's something off. I can't describe it, but the same thing in a relationship. If they're like, well, your boyfriend's beating you or whatever it is. No, he's not. He's treating me nice. I deserve that or whatever it is. Like, no, that's not right.
Yeah.
You almost need someone, a friend, to come in and say, yeah, no, you know what? You're being abused
Yeah.
in some
It's
way.
like it's like staying in a relationship just for the sex.
Yes. Yep.
It's like everything else around you is falling and crumbling, but the sex is good, so I'm going to stay. That's the most toxic mentality you can have.
Yep.
And it's the same in business. If you're going to
Mm-hmm.
get into something, get into a business to work for, get into a place to learn from, and you're going to do that and stay in there just because you feel like, oh, this has the one thing that I need when everything else doesn't work. And what are
Mm-hmm.
you doing? We didn't come into this sales business to be bogged down just like a 9 to 5.
I
We
know.
came here for the freedom,
Yeah.
the time freedom, yes, the financial freedom, but also the freedom to make our own decisions and be our own light to guide us on our own paths.
Yeah. 100%. No, it's good stuff. This is good. This is gold. This is gold. I love it. Um, I should actually take off,
Sure. Yeah.
but I will upload this video. And I think this is great. Is there anything else that you would like to add before we wrap up? We're getting
No, I
people to
mean,
go to your channel,
yeah,
Ninja
it's
Closer,
Ninja Closer on YouTube, on
subscribe,
Facebook.
comment, like on your
Yeah,
channel.
I'm in the comments. I actually talk to people back and forth. We have discussions. If you need questions, I'm available to DM and talk to, email me.
And
Like,
maybe if you're watching this video on my channel, Inception Closer, just put a little hashtag or something to say where you found this video
yeah,
when
for
you're
sure.
on the Ninja channel, and just say, yeah, I saw you on an interview on Inception Closer. That's why I'm here, just to kind of let us know a little
Yeah,
bit about what's working and all that good stuff.
yeah. So
And
we can get
yeah,
mad
and if
shirts.
you yeah, and if you send me I guess the easiest way is probably just to DM me or send me like all your links.
Yeah, I'll do
I'll
that.
I'll put that in the description as well.
Awesome.
Cool. Well, thanks very much, Victor. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. It's a
And
great interview.
yeah, this is fun. So I'll stop recording and we'll chit chat for a sec.
All right, cool.